Can you explain to me why it's actually necessary for you to point to any group other than your own to defend your group's position? Why is that actually necessary in a logical debate? Why?
Why is it actually necessary for you to point to any group, either than your own, to defend your group's position? Good question. Muslim Lantern was never going to give Andrew an honest answer, because if he did, he would literally be exposing his entire agenda, which was to take the focus away from Islam and move it somewhere else like Christianity. And that's the reason why Andrew Wilson didn't go ahead with the debate. Andrew Wilson wanted to debate the Muslim age of consent, not the Christian age of consent or Hindu age of consent or any other worldview age of consent to justify the Muslim age of consent, which is what Muslim Lantern was trying to do. According to Andrew, he agreed to debate only the Muslim age of consent, and that's what he thought was going to happen. Muslim Lantern claims he didn't agree to such terms, and he was going to bring up the Christian age of consent as an argument against Christianity to, according to him, expose the Christian hypocrisy, whatever that means, which, by the way, guys, I'm going to be addressing in this reaction. My opinion? As a self-proclaimed Bloodsport debater, which Andrew Wilson claims to be, he should have known and expected that Muslims would and do use these tactics to defend the indefensible. And he should have had a counter-argument for Muslim Lantern. At the same time, I do understand Andrew Wilson's complaint, because it is a tactic to waste time to stop people from focusing on the fact that Islam doesn't have a valid justification as to why Muhammad, a 53-year-old man who claimed to be a prophet, thought it would be moral to marry a 6-year-old and have sex with her when she was 9.
All right. There's zero reason, none, nil, why it is that you would ever need to use a whataboutism, what about them over there, to defend the things that you believe. It's totally unnecessary to a debate. In fact, it's fallacious to do in a debate, has nothing to do with what we're talking about. We're talking only about this one thing, which is the age of consent in Islam. That is the debate. Has nothing to do with Christianity. Can you explain how that has a fucking thing to do with Christianity? One thing. Tell me how it has anything to do with Christianity.
The answer is because he wants to take the focus, the lantern, so to speak, away from Islam and point it somewhere else, because he doesn't want the light to expose Islam for the fact that it does condone pedophilia. Remember, guys, I said Islam, not Muslims. Most Muslims, I am sure, hate pedophilia. According to Muslims, Muhammad is the best example for mankind for all time. This means Muhammad marrying a 6-year-old and having sex with her at 9 is the best example. Guys, Aisha was a prepubescent child when Muhammad had sex with her. She was 9. The average age for the majority of females when they get their period is 12. Not to mention the fact that he married Aisha when she was 6. I would like to ask you men a question. Have you ever looked at a girl age 6 and considered her for marriage? Well, Muhammad did. He found a 6-year-old old enough to marry and attractive enough to have sex with at 9 years of age. This is indefensible, and Muhammad Lantern knew this, and this is why he couldn't defend Muhammad's action from an Islamic perspective alone. So instead, he had to go to the Bible to obfuscate. But I also understand why Andrew Wilson didn't want him to get away with it. Muslim Lantern was trying to be deceptive and dishonest, and it showed.
Alright, so I'm going to speak uninterrupted as I allowed you to speak uninterrupted. That's what happens with Christians when you discuss with them. They turn liberal, they turn atheist. Oh, I'm atheist now. Please don't mention Christianity, because if you mention, you're going to expose my hypocrisy. You're going to expose them, accusing you of something that actually exists within Christianity. So please, just talk about Islam. Islam only, not Christianity, please. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to let you hide behind the bush. We're not going to let you try to pretend as if this is just an Islam thing. It's not.
Scared of what? He's talking as if Jesus married a 6-year-old and had sex with her when she was 9. Let's make one thing clear. Jesus is our example. Jesus Christ is who we consider to be the best example for mankind, not Muhammad. Does the Bible give an age, an explicit number for consent? No. Why would the Bible give an age for consent? Sex is only allowed within the sacrament of marriage, which a woman has to consent to. If a woman is not able to consent for whatever reason, then the church cannot carry out the marriage. Does the Bible agree with child marriage? No, the Bible agrees with the natural law that a woman can only get married after puberty. When after puberty depends on many psychological and social factors. It depends on the moral maturity of the society she hails from. It depends on her family, specifically her father. It depends on the religious moral education she received growing up. And it depends on the law of the country. Christian morals, ethics, and teachings allows for Christianity to arrive at the right age of consent, taking all of these factors into consideration. According to the Catholic Church canon law, a man before he has completed his 16th year of age and a woman before she has completed her 14th year of age cannot enter into a valid marriage. And let's not forget the age of consent in most countries varies between 14 to 16. And for a lot of these countries, the age of consent will only change recently. This is not the case for Islam. Islam does give an age of consent for marriage and for when that marriage should be consummated. For girls, the age of marriage is 6, and the age that she can have sex is 9. And the reason why the age of consent in Islam is 6 and 9 is because that's what Muhammad did, and Muhammad, according to the Quran, is regarded as the best example for humanity. Surah 33:21 says so. Indeed, in the message of Allah, you have an excellent example for whoever has hope in Allah and the last day and remembers Allah often. He mentioned Isaac marrying a 3-year-old Rebecca. Where does it say that in the Bible? Which chapter? Which verse? This is nonsense because the Bible does not say it. In fact, when Abraham's servant was sent by Abraham to find a wife for Isaac, because he didn't want Isaac to marry any of the women that he lived amongst, the Canaanites, Rebecca was described in the Bible as a woman. Abraham even said to the servant, if the woman is not willing to follow you, you will be free from this oath. This is in Genesis chapter 24. Guys, go read it. If the woman is unwilling to come back with you, then you will be released from this oath of mine. Only do not take my son back there. The fact is that nowhere in the Bible is prepubescent child marriage acceptable. He mentioned Lot. We Christians do not believe as Muslims do that prophets are protected by God from committing grave sins. We believe that prophets are normal human beings just as flawed as every other human being. And the only difference is that they adhere to God's calling more than the rest of us. That's it. Did prophets in the Bible or men that were called righteous did horrible things? Yes. Did God condone their actions? No, he didn't. God in the Bible condemns everyone who transgresses his laws. Look at David. David, who killed a man, one of his soldiers, he set him up in order to marry his wife. God punished him. He punished him by taking away his son. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this reaction. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time, all right? Peace.